Hi, this is Jill. I'm in my backyard right now, and I wanted to show you my quilts and how to use them. So you can see, this is my 50-degree quilt from Enlightened Equipment. It's 11 ounces. It's basically a big blanket, although it does have a little bit of a shape to it. So this is the end, the foot end, and the head end is a little bit wider. No matter what brand of quilt you have or plan on getting, they all work the same way. So there's a drawstring at the bottom. This snaps at the bottom. Most quilts have just about 18 inches worth of zipper, and I'll show you that here in a second. These have straps to wrap around your sleep pad to keep the quilt more or less in place during the night. Additional snaps at the head end, and another drawstring at the head end. So again, this is my summer quilt. It's 11 ounces. The green on top of my green tarp is a 20-degree quilt. It weighs 29 ounces. The 50-degree quilt weighs 11 ounces. So they're really light. And this has the straps on it as well. So the idea with the quilt is that when you lay on the actual quilted part, whether it's down or synthetic material, you're smashing it down, which reduces the loft, which then reduces the thermal insulation that is what you want the quilt for. So the idea then is that you sleep directly on your sleeping pad or in a hammock, which is sort of originally what these were designed for. And so sometimes in the summer, having a liner for the sleep pad is nice so that you're not really sleeping right on the plastic. But I haven't found it to be a problem in the winter. Although a liner will add a little bit of warmth as well. And so usually what I do, once I get my tent set up, I'll go ahead and zip up the foot box here. And again, it's only about 18 inches. I think there are some quilts that actually zip all the way up now. I mean, there's lots of little cottage industry quilt manufacturers now, so you can find some different ones. But then I'll fasten the snap at the top of the zipper, and then fasten the snap at the bottom of the foot box. So again, that's where my feet are going to be sticking out. And then if I know it's going to be a cool night and I want to make sure I stay extra warm, I'll take the lower strap here and I'll go ahead and cinch it around. I'm putting it underneath the sleep pad and then snapping it in on the other side. So that is going to keep the quilt sort of in place as I'm laying down on it. I may do that with the upper strap, but I leave it undone until I get in it because it's a little easier to do it that way. So I'm going to go ahead and take off my shoes and get in here. Oops. So my feet are all the way down here, and sometimes, like in fall or spring, it might be warm out. And so I leave that open maybe at night as I go to bed, and I might be reading for a little bit, so I leave that open. But it's very easy to, again, pull it really tight so that you really don't see any opening at all. And then it has these stays. Now I have a friend that put a pair of wool socks in that hole to really make sure there no air got out, but I've never had to do that. I think there's a company that makes even a little ball that you can put in there. But again, I think if you were really going out in a very cold night, that might be good. But the 3-season backpacking that I typically do, I haven't had any problem. So this actually then keeps all the heat then in my feet. And then I will snap the very top snap, put it over my head, and then again, sometimes I'll leave it loose like that, or I'll cinch it up tight. Laying on my pillow. This can still be open. I can get my hands out if I need to. I can get my hands out here if I need to. And then cinching this up around my head, if I'm wearing a hat, is going to make it very warm. Because again, you're cinching the heat inside your body. I would be wearing a hat if I was sleeping out in the cold at night, but I can move around, which I do a lot. So that's why these are nice. And you can see when I move around, the strap is sort of keeping it in place. Then, if I need to get up in the middle of the night, or maybe I'm getting too warm, that's happened before, I can loosen that, sit up, and then loosen the foot box a little bit. So then I get a little bit of air in there, even though it's still providing some warmth. The 50-degree quilt works exactly the same way. I got it in a different color so I could tell the difference between them. I store them sort of in the same place in my backpacking room. And I have a previous video that shows how I pack this in my pack, just stuffing it in between areas that are already, sort of open. And when I do that, I make sure that it's all unzipped, and then that the stays are at the ends, so that it's truly a flat blanket, which that's what makes it easy to do that with the backpack. I don't think you could do that with a sleeping bag. I think that'd be harder. And then I do have a dry bag compression sack that I can put this in too, which I do if I know it's going to rain or be inclement weather. I did decide to get a synthetic quilt, and that's partly so I wouldn't have to worry about it getting wet so much. And I've actually washed this in the bathtub, and it was really hard because it gets so heavy when it's wet. But it did increase the loft a little bit and made the fabric softer. So I could see myself doing that, every 2, 3, 4 years, something like that. But the 20-degree is really warm, and the 50-degree, sometimes in the summer, I just use it as a blanket. I don't even zip it up or anything. And again, that's another great reason why I like the quilts. And I'll sometimes use this if I get up early in the morning and it's cold, and I'll just drape it over me as I'm drinking my coffee. And again, that's really nice too. So I think quilts are really versatile, and I love them a lot. And so let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you like quilts too. Thanks.